Hello and good morning. Welcome to this week's episode of Nail the Numbers. So thank you for joining me if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, or if you are listening to the podcast on Spotify, then thanks for following us each week. So this week we are going to talk about overwhelm. So being a business owner, there's a million different hats that we wear. There's different things that we're taking care of. And in the beginning, we are trying to do everything because we're starting the business. We're trying to do all these different roles that have to be taken care of in order to be able to get clients, get cash flow, and then be able to grow the team and then scale up the business. So there's different stages that we go through in business, and wearing lots of hats in the beginning is one of them. And there will be stages as you go through business as well, where you may end up picking a couple more hats at sometimes, just depending what's going on in your business, and then times when you'll be able to get those hats off your head again and just be able to focus on working on the business rather than in the business. So today we're going to be talking about just lots of different things and ways that you can help just juggle the overwhelm. So like we said, the reality is there's going to be lots of things to do. That's just the way that being in business works. When you start out, you're just trying to do everything. And it means long days, it means late nights, it means possibly weekend work. And that's what it takes. That's where the blood, sweat, and the tears all come into it. And sometimes, there's a lot of pride in our ability that we can do all of this, that we can, take care of everything and still be there for our families and still be there getting all the work done. But there's only so long you can keep doing that. And it's not just the workload, but it's that mental load of constantly shifting your focus from, okay, right now I'm doing this role. Okay, now I'm into this role. Now I'm into this role. And there's just lots of different things that we're taking care of. So let's talk about ways in that you can manage all of that, all of those tasks that you have. So the first thing is to prioritize and delegate. So what has to be done? Like, what are your 3 things that you have to get done today? In my planner that I have that sits on my desk, at the top of it, it says 3 things that have to get done. So I write down those 3 priorities for those day. And no matter what, by the time I leave my desk, those 3 things have to be done. So I know those are my critical tasks. And then other tasks that don't necessarily need my attention that day can be moved to another day, or I can move them onto my team, as well. And so, but if you're still on your own, you've got a very small team, prioritize and delegate. That's the way you're going to get through your day. And don't feel that you have to get everything done. There's some things that can wait for another day. So a second item is embracing your technology. There's so much technology out there, whether it's an app for your industry that can help, scheduling, customer calls, scheduling repairs, whatever it might be, doing the accounting, doing the CRM, there's so many different tools there. So you don't have to be doing everything manually on a spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are great and they still have their place in business today. Absolutely, we are still using spreadsheets for certain things. But with the technology advancement, there's so many different apps and softwares now that can help you. They can help you all that scheduling with the invoicing if you're using QuickBooks. There's so many different tools out there. So if you can find something that works for you, the only thing I would say is make sure you do research. Don't just jump into that first tool that you come across and, it's like, what is that, shiny object syndrome, and just think, okay, this is great, this works. You put all the time setting and putting up the time to set it up. And then 2 months later, you're like, yeah, this doesn't do this and it doesn't do that. And this doesn't integrate with this. And you end up realizing that, okay, I spent a lot of time and money in getting this set up, thinking it was going to be the best thing. And don't get me wrong, there will be times that you are going to go through different softwares, particularly CRMs. That's one thing I hear, from various industries that, yeah, we went through 3 CRMs before we found the right one. So some of it is trial and error, but do your research first. See what is their cost. Is there an ongoing cost? What's the setup cost? What is the time that has to go into that? Do they offer that service? How is it going to work with all your other softwares? So look into all of that. Don't just dive in the first one that somebody tries to sell you. Make sure that it works for you, works for your business, and that it can grow with you as well. You don't want a software that after you get 2 people on your team, it's like, okay, great. Now I can't handle another crew on my team. So another area, third point, is to set boundaries. And so this is where you really want to make sure you've got clear boundaries between work and personal time. And particularly if you have a family as well, you need that time to spend with the family. You need that time to recharge, as a person. And then that helps you to return to the business with a fresh energy and a fresh perspective, because sometimes you just have to get away from that daily grind and just be able to just, enjoy being with your family, not worrying about everything that's going on, and just be able to focus on being you, relaxing, and then come back to business the next day. You'll have a fresh ideas, fresh perspective on things. And a lot of the times, well, everything doesn't seem quite so bad. It doesn't seem quite as stressful when you've had that time away. So set those boundaries. Don't be working 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. You will burn out. And you can ask lots of entrepreneurs. We've all been there at one point. You're likely to go through it because normally you have to go through burnout to realize it. But if you can, try not to let yourself get to that stage. It's a much healthier way to grow your business. So a fourth one is to build a support network. So, talk to other business owners. It's one of those things, have you noticed that on social media or talking to friends and family, everybody is kind of like just talks about all about the good stuff. Oh, this happened, we got this client, this happened, this is great, we had our best month ever. Everybody always talks and celebrates all the really great stuff, which is just human nature. You want to share that with people. But people don't always talk about struggles, or this person quit on me, or I had to fire this person, or I had this customer, say this, or whatever it might be. There's 100 different scenarios, but it's really easy to get pulled into the mindset that everybody else is doing great, everybody else is doing really good, everyone's having a great time, everyone's finding people, hiring people, they don't have any issues. Everybody's having issues, I promise you. There's always struggles behind the door in one sense or another, and in different levels. Again, we all go through different cycles in our businesses. So if you can connect with business owners where you're celebrating all the wins, but you're talking through the struggles so that you can learn from their experience, they can learn from your experience, and having that sense of community really, really helps you. So you don't feel so alone, and you can get ideas from other people so that you can avoid the mistakes that they made, and then as other people join, they can then avoid the mistakes that you made as well. So having that sense of community will really help you. There's so many different Facebook groups out there for all your different industries. Go find a Facebook group and just start reading through the posts, see if it's something that works for you. And just start. And even if you don't feel like you want to participate, just reading the posts and everything where you see people asking for advice, asking for help, or sharing a struggle and looking for input, that's going to help you as well. So it's not going to feel quite so alone. But if you can, find an in-person networking group is really great as well. And then always be open to learning. Things change. Technology is always changing. New ways of doing things in your industry are always changing. It's ever evolving, and it's going to always be like that. That's not going to stop. We're not going to get to a certain point and okay, right, this is it. Nothing's going to get any better or improve. Things are always going to be improving in all areas of our industries. So always be open to new ways. Look for those opportunities where you can start to pivot in your business. You can offer additional services. You can do things in a different way that are maybe more efficient for you, more efficient for the customer in the long run. So you just become open to that, and don't be something you're closed off like, nope, this is the way we do stuff and this is the way it's going to be. Now, one of those things in your business, which is really important, is the bookkeeping aspect. And so that is one thing as well I wanted to focus on, because a lot of people are trying to do the bookkeeping themselves. And it gets to that point where something has to give. And normally it's the bookkeeping until you get to the end of the year and you're like, oh, shoot, I've got to file my taxes. Okay, now I've got to catch up on my bookkeeping. And then you're finding yourself working hours and hours trying to figure it out. You don't understand QuickBooks. You're stressed out because you know there's a deadline coming. You don't really know what you're doing with the software, and you forget to reconcile because you didn't realize that was something you had to do. And there's just so many stresses that go with that bookkeeping. And so with a lot of other areas in your business, you're able to figure those out. The CRM, it's directly working within your customers. The bookkeeping is an area that can sometimes just be so overwhelming that it just doesn't become a priority at all. And it's a case of like, as long as I'm invoicing my customers and they're paying me, that's all I'm worried about right now. So is it time that you need to look at outsourcing your bookkeeping? Is it time that you need to start thinking about, okay, how can a company help me to keep my numbers up to date so I know what's going on in my business, so I get reports and I can see where my business is at, what changes do I make, where am I overspending, where am I, not collecting money, all those different aspects that go into that whole bookkeeping accounting area in your business are super, super important. So if you feel you're at that stage where you are looking to hire a bookkeeper, you are looking to outsource that task, to get that off your plate, maybe you've got a family member doing it right now and you're not too sure if they're doing it correctly, or if your CPA is having to make lots of adjustments at the end of the year and cleaning it up, then let us help you. Let us take that off your plate and let you be able to focus on the business. In the beginning, we talked about delegating. This is an area that's really important to delegate because it is a skill. A lot of people think the bookkeeping is 2 + 2 = 4. I got it. That's part of it. It's not all of it. There's a whole lot going on behind the background in QuickBooks that if you don't understand how to post that, how to post your payroll, how to post your purchases that you maybe need to be a fixed asset, there's all those different things that are going to throw off your profit numbers. So if you are ready to take that next step, or if you just want to chat and see what that looks like, what does it look like to outsource my bookkeeping? It's one of those things when you've never done that before, it can be like, well, I don't even know how that would work. Like, how would I get my invoices to you? How would you do this? How would you do that? Let's talk about that. Let's have a chat and see if there's a way that we can help you. So if you'd like to go to my website, constructprofitfirst.com or chooseabacus.com, go to the contact page and fill in the form, and then we'll reach out to you and get you on the calendar. And let's just have a 15, 30-minute chat. There's no pressure. Let's just see if you are ready to outsource your bookkeeping. What does that look like for you? And if we would be a good fit for you as well. So don't forget, don't get overwhelmed with being a business owner. There's lots of things to do. Delegate, prioritize. What is it you need to be doing? And what can you be implementing into your business over the next 6 months? Write it down, have a plan, look at your task management, see what you need to be able to prioritize, get done now. What technology can you be using, and where can you get support as well? So I hope that helped you. And if that is something, again, like you want to talk about more, then reach out to me and I would love to chat with you and just see how we can help you in your business and help you to be able to focus work, growing that business and taking it to the next level while we take care of the numbers for you. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time on Nail the Numbers.